find her poetry and movement performance mesmerizing, something that touches me, which is the best form of poetry for me and the best form of movement. Her unique interdisciplinary style on the page and stage has led her to become a force to be reckoned with in the poetry community. Safiya won multiple national slam championships, including the UK Hammer and Tongue National Slam Championship and the BBC Edinburgh Fringe Award in 2020. And in 2020, she was awarded the New Voice in Poetry Prize and was shortlisted for the Outspoken Page Poetry Prize and Creative Future Writers Award. She's an Obsidian Foundation Fellow and an Apple and Snakes Jerwood Arts Poetry and Performance recipient. Her notable commissions include writing for English Heritage, BBC Bite-Size and The Wailers. In 2021, Safiya started a free poetry program in Barbados. The initiative offers professional lessons teaching a variety of techniques, form and poetry around the world and across time. Her work for me is clear and powerful, blade sharp and soul deep. I was thrilled that she agreed to join us today and also to come along tonight to perform as another live stream at our Recovery Cabaret this evening. So Safiya, welcome. It's really lovely to see you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. This is a really interesting experience. I'm seeing my face on multiple screens, so this is interesting. Yeah.
It is definitely an interesting experience. Can you tell me where, I don't know where you're zooming in from. Where are you at the moment?
I'm currently in Wiltshire at the moment. So yeah, so I'm zooming in from there. So still Southwest England. Yes, I'm in between many places at the moment. So I think I'm actually in London tomorrow. And yes, so yes, Wiltshire today.
Yeah, I love Wiltshire. It's a beautiful county, really beautiful.
Absolutely.
I need to kind of keep with this mind. So we normally start these conversations with a question, traditionally, which is basically where you really felt that poetry and movement as a combination touched you and connected with you in a way that made you decide to do it as something, as a career, basically, professionally.
Ooh, okay. This is an hour conversation in itself. Yes. I started. I was a dancer before I became a poet. I've been dancing since I was 14, which is technically quite late in the dance world. The dancers usually start at 3 years old. So apparently I'm late to that. And I could never really keep still. And I've always been a mover. And I stumbled across poetry. It was actually a dare when I was, a lot later in Bristol. It was actually a dare. I went to an evening and someone dared me for a drink and said, why don't you go up on stage and perform some poetry? Because there was a poet who was meant to perform, a performer who didn't show up. And this was at Milk Poetry. So some of you might have heard of the night, run by Malika Kagodi. And so I went up, I did a freestyle, and it went down very well. And next thing I know, Malika says, okay, and what are the scores? So I find out it's a slam. So yes, the first time I did poetry was a slam. I would not have performed had I known that and had I known what a slam was, but then that happened, and I was encouraged to keep going. While I was learning more about the craft, I noticed that poets tend to stand quite still, and this didn't sit too well with me. I find it when I'm on stage, I need to move around, and also when I was learning form, so learning about sonnets and learning about lineation in poetry, I found this quite difficult. So I'm also autistic. I also have dyslexia. I have ADHD, and it was a real battle for me to learn poetry, to learn the craft of poetry. But when I started putting dance with poetry, I realized that I was able to, kind of weave my way in a little more seamlessly into understanding how poetry works. I started to see the form as choreography. I started to to realize, okay, I can create dances from poetry, and I can create poetry from dances. So from that, I started developing my own technique, which I'm calling the Kamaria technique. So I will share some information about my website and where you can find out more about my work. But it became another way for me to speak. So putting the two forms together, putting the two mediums together, allowed me to expand and express myself a lot more. I was able to also find easier ways to write about the difficult things that were emerging in my creativity. I think that, so I guess we're going to talk about this a bit more regarding the theme of this festival, but poetry is not sitting in a corner and crying yourself to sleep, right? Writing in darkness with a quill. Yes, I don't, this stereotype for poets. No, you're not meant to feel so much pain and depression with something you love so deeply. That's not, you might work into it, you might have these themes that you are working with, but you are not, it's not about pain. That is not what this is about. That, your passion is not, pain will emerge, but there is meant to be joy, right? I don't subscribe to this idea that poets need to be depressed in order to be able to write. I actually enjoy the work, and I think that stereotype needs to be challenged a lot more. So yes, that
No, I
is
agree with you.
putting the two together.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with you. I mean, I think it's great to be able to express the pain, but it is also about expressing joy, and that's sometimes, I mean, I find that harder to connect to, but when I find it and I can express it, it's a real gift. Do you have a piece, a poem that you'd like to share with us, just to start us off?
Sure. So this poem actually just won third place in the London Magazine Poetry Prize. I found out yesterday. Thank you. I'm so excited. And this poem is actually about well, you'll hear what it's about, but I was really trying to figure out how to write about tension in relationships. So and also with a sense of tenderness. So there is darkness in the piece, but yes, this piece I used dance to create it. It is called "Care for Me Like You Would a Leg Injury." I would like for my presence to be a reminder you are not as young as you used to be. You can't just dissolve for my questions and spit shot glasses. When you were sore, you grabbed your muscle, pulled, waded through denial. Then recognized being gentle leads to healing. I used to sleep under glow stars with a teddy bear. Aging was unheard of. It's like when you break open a rock and find a fossil. You say, wow, look at this old thing inside a strong thing. And I say, wow, how dare you discover change? It was all right. Everything lived forever before we came along. Now time exists. I must acknowledge you will grow peppermint in your nose. There are bodies of milk where your hugs used to be. You have been very unkind lately. Sometimes I worry I might forget how much sugar you like in your porridge. I beat it myself. I was a daughter once.